There are challenges ahead. Trump's tariffs have shaken markets across the world, as you saw. How will they impact India? Indian goods face a 26% tariff in the US. That's not as severe as China, which now faces a 104% tariff, or Vietnam, which is at 46%, or even Cambodia at 49%. Relatively, India is better off. But it's not insulated from the shock either. And that became clear today when the Reserve Bank of India slashed the country's growth forecast.
Taking all these factors into consideration, real GDP is now projected for this fiscal 25-26 at 6.5%, with Q1 at 6.5%, Q2 at 6.7%, Q3 at 6.6%, and Q4 at 6.3%. While the risks are evenly balanced around these baseline projections, uncertainties remain high in the wake of recent spike in global volatility.
This is India's central bank. It now says that India is expected to grow at 6.5% this year. Earlier, the projection was 6.7%, so it's a drop of 0.2%. The Reserve Bank of India, or the RBI, is responding to the Trump tariffs. It is cutting interest rates in a big way. Today, they announced a 0.25% cut. This is the second rate cut of 2025. More cuts are likely during the year. And why is this important? Because interest rates are a valuable tool for any central bank. Think of them as a money tap. When the rates go down, when interest rates go down, the tap opens. So more money flows into the economy because loans become cheaper. When the interest rates go up, the tap tightens. It slows the flow of cash. The first rate cut was announced in February. It was the first one in nearly 5 years, the first rate cut by India's central bank. Back then, inflation was running high, so the RBI had raised interest rates to cool the economy. This is during the pandemic. Naturally, when rates are being cut now, it will open the money tap once again. The RBI is basically trying to stimulate the economy. It wants to avoid any possibility of slowdown that the Trump tariffs might induce. They're pushing more cash into the economy. They want people to spend. So that's the RBI's response to the tariffs. What about the government of India? How will India respond to these tariffs? For the moment, the plan is to respond with restraint. Today, India's External Affairs Minister spoke about this. S. Jaishankar said that India's priority is to strike a trade deal.
We decided that we will engage the Trump administration early on this set of issues. And we were very open with them, very constructive with them, as they were with us. And what we agreed to do was to try to negotiate a bilateral trade agreement by fall of this year. So from the Indian perspective, actually doing, working out something bilaterally with the United States is not at all a sort of a negative or a sort of unwanted situation. On the contrary, it is something which has long been our objective.
So the goal is to finalize a trade deal by fall. In principle, that should make the tariffs go away, because India holds some unique advantages in this situation. It began talks with the Trump administration early on, and Trump himself wants this deal done. There is an in-principle agreement between the US and India, but with Donald Trump, you never really know. He has a habit of shifting goalposts. So what is India's strategy to negotiate with an erratic US president? Just a few hours back, we spoke with Piyush Goyal, India's Commerce Minister. He is leading the negotiations from the Indian side. Piyush Goyal has been engaging with his counterparts in the United States, and here is how he sees the current situation. Trump tariffs have kicked in. Markets are volatile. Recession fears loom. What is India's strategy, sir?
Thank you, Palki. I think we've all seen the way Prime Minister Modi has deftly managed the entire situation. He was first off the block in building back his old friendship and relationship with President Trump. They both jointly declared that the US and India are trusted partners, and we will work towards a bilateral trade agreement by fall of 2025. I think our strategy is very clear. We are engaged with the US.
You've been at the forefront of the conversations and you've engaged with the Americans and your counterparts in Washington, D.C. What have they told you? What is their primary concern? Is it the trade surplus or is it the high tariffs? What do they want to fix?
The whole issue is about fair trade. We saw the trade deficit with China grow by leaps and bounds. And India and Indian manufacturers, Indian industry, Indian trade suffered massively. Similarly, the US has suffered massive trade deficits because of the non-market economy that is China, because of their predatory pricing or unfair trade practices. And I think the United States is trying to reset the rules of the game. And in some sense, it's a good omen for India because it opens up huge opportunities.
I'm sure you had some calculation before the tariffs were announced. Was 26% closer to your best case scenario or worst case scenario?
I think the tariffs have been determined based on a formula, which is the trade deficit that the US has with a particular country divided by the total imports into the US from that country.
What do you make of that formula, though? You're a chartered accountant yourself.
I would not like to comment on a formula that's used by the United States. Basis that formula, they've come up with different tariffs for different countries. We believe that India was not one of those countries which really needed to have tariffs on them because we were already in engagement for a bilateral trade deal. But I think the US has not differentiated. For every country, they've come out with a number. But we are in constant engagement, and I think we'll be working with them to take off these additional tariffs in the days to come.
And India has a better deal than some of our other players in the region.
And we are much faster off the block compared to the others.
If for some reason it does not happen by the end of this year, what is the plan B, or is plan B to make plan A work?
There's always plan A, plan B, plan C, but we succeed in whatever we take up.
President Trump has said that India is going to substantially reduce tariffs, and I know that we've made some moves with American whiskey and high-end bikes and so on. But have you also spelled out some red lines that these are the no-go zones where we shall not entertain American demands?
Palki, we always look at India's interests. For us, it is India first, but every trade deal is a win-win for both sides. And it involves negotiations. We never negotiate on the platform of a news channel. Negotiations are behind closed doors. And there's a lot of give and take that happens. But the final outcome will always be in India's interests. That assurance I can give to all Indian countrymen.
So negotiation, not confrontation. That is how India is approaching the situation. Reports say India may offer duty-free imports to the United States. This could cover a wide range of sectors. This might help speed up the deal as well. But such an offer would come with strict conditions. At the same time, New Delhi is keeping its options open. Along with America, India is negotiating with 7 other countries. This includes the United Kingdom and New Zealand and blocs like the European Union. We want trade deals with all of them. New Delhi is exploring free trade pacts with multiple players. West Asia is in the mix as well. Countries like Bahrain and Qatar have shown interest. They want trade deals with India. So New Delhi is taking a pragmatic approach. Yes, Trump's trade war is a challenge, but India has a rare chance as well, a chance to build new trade alliances, to help reshape global supply chains. India could make and should make the most of it.
Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
No, I love India.
Presence, occupation of a territory by another country pertains to India, what we saw in Kashmir.
How do you see Trump's America?
Yes, the current administration behaves differently from the previous administration.
Are you saying that there are foreign powers who are trying to bring down the current government in Syria?
Exactly.
Bluntly, Iran may be Russia too.
Prime Minister Modi committed to South-South, cooperation.
For both sides.
Not over 50%.
Is Ukraine prepared to pay the price for that peace?
No compromises at the cost of territorial integrity and sovereignty.